Welcome back to episode 18 of the Benchwarmers podcast. We are your hosts, Jacob.
Damn.
And Baden.
And today we're going to go over a bunch of recent NFL news, as well as the NBA post-All-Star break and what's going on there. So without further ado, just yesterday, trade broke. Russell Wilson going to the Denver Broncos, along with a fourth rounder, in exchange for 2 firsts, 2 seconds, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris. Oh, and Drew Lock. Am I missing anything?
Don't forget the 5th round pick.
Oh, of course, the 5th rounder. He's going to be the next Tom Brady.
Brady was in the 6th round.
Yeah, well, okay.
I'm bad. I'm being that guy right now.
All right. So, Russ has been with the Seahawks since 2012. This year was his first losing season. How do we feel about this trade?
Sam, do you want to go first? Because
Look, this trade makes me happy because I'm not sure if you guys know this. I'm a Jets fan. And Jamal Adams, when he requested a trade from the Jets, right, he was like, I want to go to a team that's contending. I want to go to a relevant team. Now the Seattle Seahawks are in rebuild mode. Wagner released, Russell Wilson traded. It warmed my heart, honestly. And they gave us 2 first-round picks for him. I can't complain. Looking at this from an objective standpoint, I think that this is a fair trade. The Broncos and the Seahawks. I think this is a reasonable amount to give away, or to get a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't know though.
I personally think the Broncos got fleeced. Russ is a great quarterback, but he's 31, and a QB like Rodgers or Brady last that long in the league because of their ability to not take sacks, the fact that they're a pocket passer, and that's not Russ's style. And I think he'll have a few good years in Denver. I don't think they even make it out of that division. That's got to be one of the best QB divisions ever with Mahomes, Herbert, Wilson, and Carr. So to me, I don't think it makes a ton of sense, and I think the Broncos definitely lose that one. But good job by the Seahawks for starting off the rebuild strong.
I think this is the most. I think this is the most even deal since that Stephon Diggs Justin Jefferson trade. I think that both Denver, you give up all those. They gave up a ton of picks. All you want from those picks is a quarterback, because that's all this team needs. It's not like you're out there, you have major holes anywhere else on this team.
That's a good point.
Your team is kind of set, so all you need is a quarterback. So why not just say, we're not using every single one of these picks on a quarterback, or either trade them and get a guy we already know is good. And also to your point, Jacob, on Russell Wilson takes a lot of sacks, and that's his play style may not last him to play in his 40s like you see Brady does. I think the offense will be different in Denver than it's been in his career in Seattle. I also got to think Nathaniel Hackett, Packers offensive coordinator last few years, now the Broncos head coach. I think there's a lot of similarities in how the Broncos are built versus how the Packers are currently built.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a very similar offense where, just like Aaron Rodgers, I think Russell Wilson, his efficiency will be as good as it's ever been, but the turnovers will go down. But maybe the big plays aren't always happening as much as you see them. I think that's something you're going to see more from Wilson. And for the Seahawks, this is this is probably. This is a great, trade in my opinion. I think they get off the Russell Wilson contract. Obviously, it's worth to have that, but you were not going to win with anything, major in the next 2 years, which is how long Russell Wilson's contract is. You get a bunch of picks, high level. You got 4 top 60 picks. You got. Your Shelby Harris automatically becomes your best defensive lineman. Noah Fant is your
Jamal Adams. Stop.
Jamal Adams is I would say D line. He's more like he's a linebacker basically.
Yeah.
honestly.
He's Kyle Hamilton, but
not good.
Well, I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, Shelby Harris is your best defensive lineman. Noah Fant gives you your best tight end, third best offensive weapon. You have cap space. Drew Lock, if maybe somehow, some way, somehow he's the guy there. I don't know. Like maybe there's a chance at that. If not, you're fine. You know, you're not get. Seahawks are not thinking of Drew Lock as the long term guy. And as long as you are able to keep some of the pieces you already have in place, like DK Metcalf, Jordan Brooks, Quandre Diggs, Rashad Penny, really those four main guys, I think the Seahawks have a really good rebuild ahead of them.
I agree.
yeah. And then I guess, so now I'm just trying to think. This makes just the NFC quarterback class even weaker. Is what you have
But yeah, that's
only regular season Aaron Rodgers, right, for 17 games, and you have Kyler Murray before the trade deadline. So
Yeah.
I guess that gives you like 1.5 elite QBs at any given point. Am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something.
Dak
But
Prescott.
oh, but the Cowboys.
But yeah,
in general.
That's also something I wanted to talk about. The NFC is so weak. It's the Rams, it's the 49ers, it's the Cowboys, it's the Packers, and it's everybody else. Like there's only 4 teams I would even consider as contenders, which is, versus Buffalo, a healthy healthy Baltimore team. I think the Chargers, if they make the right moves in free agency on the defensive side of the ball, they're contenders. The Chiefs, I think the Broncos are now contenders with this move. Who am I forgetting? I hate to say it, the Patriots are always contenders.
I don't know. They're held back by a kind of mediocre quarterback.
Trash quarterback. Don't say mediocre. This man is.
Sam, you're just mad that the Patriots own you.
Yeah, you're mad. You're mad.
Patriots own everybody. I don't feel bad about saying that.
I mean, it's just the Patriots are better than the Cardinals. I'd probably think they're better than the Cowboys. Like they'd be the third best team in the AFC. So, or in the NFC, I'm sorry. But that the NFC is very, very weak. A lot of teams have to figure out what they're doing. Like I think the NFC South is going to be just like the NFC East a couple years back now. Like that division is awful.
That division, I don't know. I mean, if there's a team who's gonna end up with a winning record, who do you think it's gonna be? Probably the Bucks.
It's probably the Bucks. If Kyle Trask is their quarterback, I don't think any team.
I do have a hot take though. I think Derek Carr gets traded to the Buccaneers.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think that the Bucks will have the assets to go out and get a quarterback to continue contending. They have Chris Godwin back. They still have Mike Evans. That whole team is still elite. And Derek Carr is an above average quarterback. And I feel like if you're gonna make a move, now's the time to make it while the NFC is weak.
I guess. I think I also look at some of the pieces they are going to miss. Ali Marpet retired. Leonard Fournette, is he coming back? Sean Murphy Bunting at corner. There is a lot of guys out there. Jason Pierre-Paul is a free agent. There's still, a lot of that are.
Excuse
me. There are a lot of pieces that, still are in the works with the Buccaneers. I don't know if Derek Carr, he's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong. I don't see it from either side, or I doubt the Buccaneers will be willing to give up all of what they would have to for Derek Carr versus, trading a little bit for a mediocre quarterback and filling out the roster.
To your point.
Interesting.
I just think for Vegas fans, Carr is like Jesus. Like he's the guy who's stuck with them. He's the only guy who's really stuck around. And I don't see him I don't see him leaving, and I don't see any reason they would trade him either.
I think I think if you're the Raiders, you're just saying we got to build upon what the season we just had.
But the season you just had was because of Derek Carr.
I know. That's what I'm saying. For the Raiders, I'm agreeing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the Raiders need to just keep building up.
Yeah.
And, it may seem weird because you see the rest of your division has elite quarterbacks. Like Derek Carr is a top 12 quarterback. Everyone else is just happens to be like top 7 or 8. So that's a little bit unlucky. But you just got to keep. I think you got to keep building up because I don't think the Broncos' window is, long. And then you also got the Chargers really haven't proved it yet. Well, obviously, you know about the Chiefs, so I think I don't see the point of trading Derek Carr for the Raiders.
You guys know that one meme where it's like Dame going to God and he's like, "Give me harder challenges." The don't run from the grind memes on the internet. Derek Carr is the NFL version of Damian Lillard. That's my comparison. I don't think Derek Carr's ever been like as good as Damian Lillard, but that gets mentioned every time.
Yeah, like if Derek Carr requested a trade, maybe not today. If it was 2 days ago, you couldn't blame him.
Yeah.
Like you can't really blame him for wanting out of this situation that is Vegas.
But what does this mean for the quarterback class? Because I think that the Broncos might have been, a team that was looking to take a quarterback early.
Yeah.
And now the Seahawks are there, and they're looking at Drew Lock, Geno Smith.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Seahawks don't go quarterback. I think there's a lot of really solid talent, really good talent in this draft class. I think people don't think of it as as good as that it's that great of a draft class only because the quarterbacks are not that great. I look at 6 edge rushers that could go top 25. There's a lot of good receivers. The secondary is really good. You can boost up the offensive line. A lot of other needs that this Seahawks team has can be filled with that number 9 pick and all the picks that they got for this year's draft and next year's draft.
Yeah.
I wouldn't particularly say quarterback is a must at 9, but I mean it could happen because why not?
Can I just build on what Peyton said real quick? I think a lot of these teams that trade their elite QB for a big haul and then like that team's QB, like the worst QB, they tend to give those guys a year to figure it out. They don't bench them immediately. Look at like last year with the Matt Stafford deal. Jared Goff became the Lions QB, and he was he wasn't good, but he was there to fill the role and he did it, And I think that's what's gonna happen with Drew Lock, especially since he wasn't fully healthy last year. I think giving him another chance in a better situation is the right play. Actually, I don't know if it's a better situation though, but I think they should give him a chance. Drew Lock is one of the most intriguing quarterbacks I've seen in a long time, and this year being cut short for him because of getting benched and getting hurt. I want another look at Drew Lock. I feel like I don't know enough about the way he plays.
Yeah. I guess we could probably go from one mediocre quarterback to another. Carson Wentz was traded to the Washington Commanders. What are the full details on this? I need to. This trade is weird to me. This is I love this trade for the Colts. I actually love this trade for the Colts.
I've got the full details right here.
But yeah, you can say that, and then I'll go into what I think.
Colts get 2022 third-round pick, 2023 third-round pick that can become a second if Carson Wentz plays 70% of plays, and another 2022 second-round pick. Commanders get Carson Wentz and a 2022 second.
Basically,
they got a second too. That's not bad.
Basically, the Colts gave up a high-paid, mediocre quarterback moved up about a couple of spots in the drafts and got a couple of third rounders, which is, I guess that's pretty good. I don't, so I would say this. I think the Colts win this deal. In terms of value, like, and for the Commanders, it's like this is a lateral move. You, how much better is Wentz than Heineke?
He's not.
He's the
And
greatest
maybe a little
quarterback
bit
in
better.
the league. So
He's a tad bit better.
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at pure flashes, Heineke flashes more. Like there's more times in the last couple of years, Taylor Heineke. If Taylor Heineke is playing at his best, I mean,
This is
obviously Carson Wentz
outrageous.
at his best.
This is
I mean,
outrageous.
Carson Wentz at his best was an MVP player, but he's not that anymore. So if I think if Carson Wentz playing at his best now, which is Heineke at his best now, I'm taking Taylor Heineke.
Ooh, I don't know.
It's
About
just that Wentz is a little bit more consistently mid, for lack of a better term, versus Heineke could be, he looks like he's top 15, top 13 sometimes, and he looks like he's bottom 5 other times.
Sam, did you see the Colts also give up a second rounder?
yeah.
So the Colts don't have a first or a second, or a QB.
They
What?
basically traded up like 4 or 5 spots.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they got a 2022
In the second
and a
round.
2022 third.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't know. I think that for the Colts, I think that this is where you go and sign Mitch Trubisky. Actually, that was just a lot of the Discord I was seeing in the Twitter comments. Because so what I don't understand about like the idea of signing Mitch Trubisky, I know that I just said that they should go out and sign him. He was bad, like very bad, his tenure in Chicago. I don't understand like what a year of sitting on the bench behind Josh Allen does to his stock that makes it like fly up, and they're like, oh, he's gonna get big contract money, start for a team.
I would probably say, like, I agree with you. I guess the thing is, you say he sat a year behind Josh Allen in a very stable offense, high level offense, learned that offense. And Richard Trubisky, I don't fully blame him on why he was not that good in Chicago. And if he were to go to a place like Indianapolis, it's a better situation with a better offensive line and a elite running game. So there's a better chance of seeing Mitchell Trubisky succeed than he probably ever would have in Chicago.
Well, ESPN actually reported a few hours ago that the Giants are going to try to land Trubisky.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh
I
my
heard
goodness,
about that.
Daniel Jones, Mitch Trubisky, the battle of the busts. That's
That
insane.
was a buy.
What do you mean battle of the boss? They're top 2.
And they both. Oh no, and Daniel Jones went to Duke and Trubisky went to North Carolina, so that's
Yeah.
another storyline there.
Mitch is an Ohio boy,
Uh,
so that's something you got to remember.
Yeah, that's just that's not. I don't
Claim him.
Yeah.
I don't claim him as like part of Ohio. I hate Mitch, but
I love
I'm
you.
sure Mitch Trubisky listens to the podcast.
Love you, Mitch.
Mitchell Trubisky, if you're listening, join the podcast. Come on for it doesn't even have to be too long, like a good 10 minutes. Talk about your life story. Why not?
True.
Baden and I before we were recording, we were talking about that one kid who's committed to Penn State, Drew Allars.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, Drew Allars is a top quarterback recruit in this high school graduating class. He bodied our school last year in the playoffs, or this year in the playoffs.
We all watched it. It was pretty bad. It was like 40-something-0 at half. We actually got put on like Sports Center from players' reactions in the locker room. It was that bad.
Yeah. Overtime posted our school.
Oh my god. It was
funny,
it was
though.
really an all-time low.
Like I kind of expected it. I mean, I expected us to lose by a lot. I did not expect us to not score a single point. Because it's like the 5 stars on our offense, not defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They took him out like midway second quarter.
They were playing with like their third stringer at some point. It was embarrassing. I don't want to, but he's. I was reading his draft report right before we were recording, and it's like he's got first round talent, and that's kind of sick. We might be able to say that. Oh yeah, that quarterback. We watched him play in high school. But, story for when we're a little older.
That'd be kind of, that's definitely really cool.
And then I guess. So we talked about the Colts, and what about the Reds? No.
Oh, Sam.
Whoa.
What about the command? Like, what do the Commanders get out of this? Oh wait, no, we just talked about that. My
Like
bad.
nothing.
It's a lateral move.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Wentz is not much better than Heineke, if not better at all. This is Terry McLaurin's 8th quarterback. I want to point that out.
Darius Leonard tweeted about it earlier.
Let's just say Darius.
Five quarterbacks in 5 years, and everybody, and like the entire Colts comment section is like, trade him. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think I heard there was a report that just recently came out like 15-20 minutes ago that Sam Ellinger could very well be QB1 in Indy.
I mean, he deserves it, I think. I wanted the Browns to draft Ellinger last year because he seemed like he went in like the 6th or 7th. It seemed like he could have gone undrafted.
That'd be kind of funny, Ellinger and Mayfield in the same room.
But I think he deserves the first shot at least in Indy before you give up a second or something for Jimmy G.
I think Ellinger is, a guy who plays game the right way. He's got some, sneaky athleticism, high IQ, high game IQ. He's a locker room leader. But most importantly, I would let him date my daughter. I think that's really real.
Those jokes never get old, man.
Never do. Talking about jokes, let's move on to the Calvin Ridley suspension.
All right, yeah. Sorry if you guys hear my little brother yelling in the background.
It's no problem. Calvin Ridley was suspended for a whole season due to placing $1,500 in bets under the username, was it really
Ralvin Kidley ATL.
Ralvin Kidley.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I think it was totally unjustified. I think that's the bottom line.
Alright. So by the reports, he betted on games that he did not play in, if I'm correct.
Yes.
He betted for his team to win too.
It's not like he was telling guys lose,
He deserves to be suspended, yes. An entire season is wild. I'm actually having an issue with this because the NFL needs to get this right. How does a guy spend just $1,500 when he makes millions and get suspended for a season? But yet Ray Rice can absolutely Mike Tyson his girlfriend in an elevator and get suspended 2 games. He got suspended 2 games. The
NFL is very lenient on actual crimes, but when a player who isn't playing football, does something, it's full suspension because why not?
Like, a dude can go out and just assault anyone he wants. A couple games, Tom Brady can deflate footballs in an actual game, in a playoff game. 4 games. Calvin Ridley bet $1,500, and he wasn't playing in those games? Full season. What?
Most importantly, Tom Brady can kiss his son on the mouth, and he's not kicked out of the league.
Okay.
All right.
That was just nothing.
Okay.
Alrighty, bro. Alrighty, bro. We get.
But no, I think it's very stupid, especially since everybody could see this coming from a mile away, right? Like, it's they as in the NFL promote gambling so much. They're sponsored by 4 different FanDuel, Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
Sponsored by 1,000 different sports gambling companies. they're still slapping players on the wrist for. Obviously, they should, right? Like, that's not a question because gambling on games kind of ruins the integrity of the sport. I don't know. It's absolutely insane. 17 games is wild.
Well, I have a question for you guys. Where do you think the line is drawn? What if Tom Brady bets on games this year and then comes back and plays? You know,
That's perfectly fine.
that's fine. So where's the line? Because you didn't even know if Ridley was coming back. We didn't know if Calvin Ridley would ever play football again. And now we still don't know that. Who knows if he was coming back this year? Now he's definitely not. And who knows if he's coming back next year? So, like, where's the line drawn? Where can you say, this guy is not allowed to bet on sports?
I mean, if you're on an active roster, I don't think you should be allowed to be betting on games. I think that's the line. And then in terms of like how long is it what's the punishment? I think it depends on the money spent, and I guess you could also even go into what you're specifically betting on. You know what I mean? Because if you're let's just say you're Calvin Ridley, you're on the Falcons, and you play the Buccaneers this week. You know what I mean? Why does it matter if you bet on Chiefs Browns? Like, that has nothing. You have no control over that game.
Yeah.
So I don't think a full season suspension is not necessary whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree.
All right then. So do we want to move on to Aaron Rodgers?
Sure.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing in Green Bay. First there were the reports that he signed the biggest contracts in NFL history, or biggest per year contract, but Aaron Rodgers declined those rumors. But he will be playing in Green Bay again, and because of that, the Packers franchise tagged Devontae Adams. So I guess another year of Rodgers and Adams. I honestly think this was, the best outcome for Packers to get Aaron Rodgers back for at least another year. It's just going to be interesting on, what they do to improve. That's kind of really all that matters.
Yeah. What else do to say about that? Jordan Love. Poor Jordan Love. Man. He's never going to go.
No, Jordan Love is getting.
I feel so bad for Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is, personally, my opinion, living the dream. He's getting paid millions of dollars, right? All he has to do is go and work out.
That's true.
I guess.
True,
like,
but
for an NFL player, like, you want to compete. I don't think that. So it might be disappointing in that fashion. No chance of injury. You're sitting on the bench behind one of the greatest quarterback minds ever. So when you do finally get that chance, you're learning. You're making millions of dollars. I don't think you can complain.
I mean, but at the same time, if he had been playing, and let's just say he's playing well, contract extension time comes up, and he's now making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Or no?
So I feel bad for Jordan Love. I think he should. I think we just talked about the Colts. Jordan Love to the Colts is an agenda I'm gonna start pushing. Maybe not the Buccaneers because they already have a young quarterback, Kyle Trask. I think they probably value him. The team should be looking to try to get Jordan Love. Because I
what about
don't see
NFC East rival, the Minnesota Vikings, or even the Detroit Lions?
North.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Lions.
No. Really?
I don't think that's feasible. Vikings, technically, they did draft Kellen Mond in the 3rd round.
That's true. I do want to see Kellen Mond.
I actually think Kellen Mond has some potential. Obviously, the Bears wouldn't do that move.
Yeah.
Got the best strategy for the Lions. I won't lie. You guys want to hear it?
Huh.
Yeah, I have another strategy if it's not the same as yours.
So Lions go out and draft a player in the 4th round, 5th round, 6th round. It's not in the first 3, okay? And here's what they do. Find Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, the starter, gets injured. Some freak thing happens. He gets I don't know, his arm gets bitten off by rabid dogs or something. Next quarterback comes onto the field. Superstar. Next Tom Brady. Rinse and repeat with the next team that's Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's just wild. Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback whisperer.
He's the quarterback something. He's just got a curse hanging over his head, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. I don't want to go into the draft too much, but I guess we're on the topic of the Lions. It's just gonna be interesting what they do. Who they target, because there's so many holes, but at the same time, there's still a lot to like. So it's gonna be interesting.
So shall we go over to the franchise tags, talk a little bit about that, and then we'll jump on over to the NBA section?
All right, so for the franchise tags, I'm kind of doing this off the top of my head right now. Devontae Adams was the biggest name. Chris Godwin is franchise tagged again.
Mike Gesicki, Browns franchise tag, David Njoku. What else? Oh, Jesse Bates for the Bengals.
Yep.
What else? Mike Williams was not franchise tagged. They signed him to a pretty big extension, which saddens me because I was hoping he would become a Browns player. That's all right.
You know, it was probably not realistic.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to leave that Justin Herbert Chargers team. That's wide receiver heaven.
And then the last 2 guys were Orlando Brown and Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Those were the other 2 franchise tagged players. I don't think anything crazy is here. I think I would have liked to see. Oh, Cam Robinson was franchise tagged again, which is still weird. You're paying the dude $16 million to be an average offensive lineman. I still don't kind of see that the point of him being franchise tagged again. Yeah, it's
nothing.
Hey, so I don't know if there's too much there. I don't think it's a lot of surprises. For the Browns, I guess, since we are Browns fans, I would like to see Austin Hooper go with the franchise tagging of David Njoku. It's reportedly not going to happen. I just, for the money he's paid, I don't think Hooper is worth that.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. I think we hate on Hooper every 2 episodes, so I don't think we should really get so far into that. But yeah, Hooper needs to go.
All right, then let's jump on over to the NBA segment.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you want to do your little big winners, big losers segment?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me pull up the NBA standings real quick. I think I know who my East big winners are going to be.
I would assume. I think I got a guess of who your East big winner is going to be, but.
All right, so let's get going with the West. Start it off. So for my big winners, and this is actually a continuation of pre All-Star break pod, I'm going to go with the Mavericks. They've had a 5-game win streak, very impressive stretch, beating teams like the Warriors, who have it's pretty nicely into my next one. My West big loser is the Warriors. They came out of the All-Star break looking real bad. They lost 8 out of 10. Injuries are a factor, but really they were losing games that they shouldn't have lost. Games where they built up a significant lead and lost it in the 4th. So the Warriors are my West big loser. Then in the East, bring it over to the East. My big winner is going to be the 76ers. I don't know if that's what Sam was thinking.
I know that is what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
I mean, the Sixers have looked almost invincible since they signed James Harden. Not signed, traded for. They've only lost 1 game. I believe they've won 5 of 6 or 6 of 7. Harden has looked lights out. Embiid remains an MVP favorite, and the Sixers look really good right now. Tyrese Maxey's on a great stretch. For my losers, I'm going to go with the Bulls. I saw a very interesting stat on ESPN that the Bulls are like 0-13 against teams that are a top 3 seed in their conference. I'm not going to say Bulls are frauds because the Bulls are a very good team. But that is a very, very interesting stat. That's not a coincidence. And they've lost 5 straight. They came out, they won 5 straight. Came out of the All-Star break, and just before it, won 5 straight. Now they've lost 5 straight. So they're my big losers this week.
I like that. Those were good takes. Lead takes. I guess we'll start off with the Cleveland point guards. Last night they put on quite a show. Kyrie dropped one of the greatest and most efficient games. One of the most efficient games ever. 15 of 19, 50 points, a game score of 100.
A game score of 100?
Or like a true shooting percentage, sorry, not a game score of 100.
I was going to say, game score of 100 is literally the perfect game.
That's like almost impossible.
That's probably like even Wilt's 100-point game, or Wilt's like quintuplet might not get a 100 game score.
Yeah. And then of course Darius Garland. 41 points, 13 assists, 5 rebounds. Was he 14 of 26, 4 of 9 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3. Darius, I can easily see going for 60 plus if he ever decides to like actually score in the first half. 31 of his points came in the second half. It was absolutely wild. Like, he can just catch fire so easily. And there was this one report that came out the other day that was like, I don't think that you can build around Darius Garland. And then he went out and dropped that masterpiece. That day to be an anonymous Western Conference scout. What can I say?
Yeah, DG, the first half was not impressive. He made like 30% of his shots. Tyrese Halliburton looked like the best player in that game. He was lights out in the first half. But then second half, DG comes out. Mobley continues his very efficient game. And the Cavs win it. That was a good one.
It's just, I feel like, I didn't get to watch this game, but I feel like it just tends to feel like we rely on Darius Garland a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Even a couple games before, I think it was a Sixers game, Darius Garland had 26 and 19.
Yeah, that's Chris Paul-esque.
Yeah, that's prime Chris Paul right there. So, and obviously, you love to see those games out of Darius Garland, but when it seems like at times it feels like we can't win without those types of games, it definitely isn't the best, especially for a team that is in this stacked Eastern Conference where any of these top 7 seeds or so can win a playoff series.
I'd say that these last couple wins have been really crucial for us. We're now 3.5 games out of the play-in, which is great. We're half a game back from the Celtics. We're 2 games back from the Bulls. We're making strides in the right direction after being, down and out for a week or 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jared Allen getting hurt is going to really hurt. No pun intended. But I think Ed Davis is good enough to go in and play a couple of center minutes. I think we can start running lineups, really small ball lineups, where Kevin Love or Dean Wade is at the 5, not the 6.
The 6? That's a new one.
6.
Jetty Osman runs power forward or something. We just try and utilize as much spacing as possible. I think actually the other big takeaway that I have is give Brandon Goodwin Rajon Rondo's minutes. It was a nice experiment while it lasted. Rajon Rondo cannot score. He's not energetic enough on offense. He does pass one of the greatest of all time, like he is, but just not there. I think that it's time for us to say, okay, bring back the good wins.
Yeah, I agree. Rondo, I was excited when we signed him. I thought he'd be a really good facilitator. He's been a pretty big disappointment. And once we have Karis LeVert back, I think he's pretty much obsolete. Garland's passing ability is almost at Rondo level, and Rondo can't score. He's not worth the minutes at this point. It's not like he's elite on defense like a Coro. He's not worth the minutes. And when you have Karis LeVert back, he should become a couple minutes a game guy.
See, I had some other takeaways. Remember that like 56-point bomb that LeBron dropped a couple days ago? I just wanted to talk about that for a second.
Oh yeah.
I know that like LeBron assembled this team and everything, but that should not like take away from the fact that they are absolutely failing him right now. Like, obviously AD is out. They got to do something. They're wasting his 5th prime, and it's absolutely disgusting.
5th prime. Yeah.
5th prime. I mean, LeBron's absurd. It's like he should still be getting MVP consideration. Honestly,
Absolutely.
If Curry got MVP consideration last year, LeBron deserves it this year. It's almost like one good game can sway your direction of how the MVP race feels. If you asked me a week and a half ago, I would have said John Morant. You asked me after LeBron scored 56, I'd have said LeBron. You ask me right now, I say Jokic. Like, my MVP has changed 3 times within 14 days. At the beginning of the calendar year, it was DeRozan. Embiid has been my MVP at times. Like, I've had 6 different MVPs. Curry was the MVP first couple months of the season. So it's a really close and tight race. Kind of similar to the NFL MVP this year. There wasn't a really guy that stood out. We didn't really know who was clearly gonna win it till it happened. I think that's gonna be this year as well. There's 6 guys who are all in that race for MVP.
I mean, this has been a really entertaining NBA season to watch, just in general. Just
It's been a great season.
feels like balance has been restored. I won't lie. Just, it's nice. It doesn't feel like there's a real favorite. I'm enjoying it a lot. So, do we want to move on to bench warmers then? And then I have like that segment that I was talking to you guys about like a week and a half ago.
Alrighty, let's
Sure.
bench warmers.
Let's give it a.
You guys mind if I start off, or you want to go?
Let's get. I have to think about it for a minute. So if you guys have
Alright.
something.
So my bench warmer, although he played a relatively small role, I'm gonna give it to Lamar Stevens from the Cavs. 9 points in relatively small minutes, and came up with that clutch block against the Pacers that sealed the deal. So Lamar Stevens is my bench warmer of the week.
This guy actually starts for his team, but if a certain player hadn't gained so much weight, he wouldn't be starting. I'm going with Herb Jones, and yes, Herb Jones is my favorite player in basketball right now, so this could be a little biased. But a couple days ago, the Pelicans played the Utah Jazz, and the stat that I saw, the Jazz, when Herb Jones was the closest defender, shot just 2 for 12 from the field. I think Herb Jones brings a high level. He brings high level defense, and I think he's a stud. I think he will be a stud for a long time in this league. I think he's just another example of why I think people overvalue youth in the draft, especially the NBA draft. So you'd rather have a 19-year-old guy who's not nearly as polished versus a 22-year-old who can immediately impact. That's why he fell.
My bench warmer of the week. He was having actually an insane stretch of games before this last Pacers game. He was averaging 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on, 48% from the field, 43% from 3, and like 60% true shooting. My bench warmer of the week is Jetty Osman. Just indisputable. He is Kyle Korver light. Like, that stat line is the most Kyle Korver thing I can think of. He spaces the floor. His shooting motion even looks exactly like Kyle Korver's. It's absolutely wild. And I have a second nominee, is Ben Simmons. He is going to be warming the bench for quite a while.
Yeah.
Due to him going to Philly, and I'll probably have to deal with that.
Man, I wish he was playing. It seemed like enough time.
So badly. Storylines would be incredible. He hits a fadeaway 3 over James Harden to win the game.
Or Sixers are down 1. Or no, not Sixers. Nets are down 1. Simmons gets not intentionally. He gets fouled while shooting with 0.1 seconds left. Right? He's at the line. He misses the first one. And this is in Philly. Misses the first one. Philly fans go crazy. They know they are one missed free throw away from both a win and a free curly fry from Arby's. You get that if an opposing player misses 2 straight free throws in Philly. Simmons lines up. He dribbles the ball. He takes the shot. It clanks off the rim. Free fries. Sixers win. That's the dream scenario.
The only way that could have been better is if Trae Young teleported into it and scared him. Lethal inside defender Trae Young that would make you pass up an open dunk. Lethal.
That's so funny.
Oh my goodness.
I still can't believe he didn't at least just bro. I'm getting angry, bro. Trae Young is an elite rim defender now. Why do you not just you could just dunk on his face, bro? Oh no, man.
That's very funny. This gives me chuckles when I think about it. All right, then if it's okay with you guys, I'm gonna move on to my new segment. I think
Special Sam segment. Let's go.
Off this pod with. So there's this. So just for context, there's a site online, Basketball GM. That's a simulation basketball site. It's so much better than NBA 2K. It has so many more cool features. And so I started something that I'm calling the Benchwarmers Basketball League. In this, the year is 1966. Each control one team. So here's what it goes. Here's how it goes. So the salary cap right now is set at $60 million, but it's going to inflate as years go on, like the real NBA does.
All right.
The draft, the lottery, it's a coin flip for the top pick, and it'll change in 1987. What else? The max contract right now is 33% of the salary cap, so $20 million. The occurrence and accuracy of three-pointers is reduced, but that'll also grow as the league grows.
All right.
It's meant to replicate slower style of basketball back in the day. Well, I simulated the first year. I've been waiting for ages to present this segment. I have I have 2 pages written out for this. I'm so excited. I love this so much. So I'm going to simulate 1 year in between every pod, and I'll have this little recap at the end of every episode. So here we go. So Baden's team is the Montreal Beavers. They're ranked 21st in the power rankings. They're led by 30-year-old small forward Jeff Williams, who's a great scorer and a pretty good three-point shooter. And obviously, pretty good is subjective, since it's 3/4 the amount of will be hit. Austin Mitchell from Indiana University, who's a pretty young small forward who can handle the ball well. And Latvian national Uvis Buskevics, another small forward who has the highest potential on the team. And Jacob's team, the Cleveland Curses.
Let's go!
ranked 17th in the power rankings. You know, led by Michael Johnson, a 26-year-old guard forward hybrid. Think like, I don't know, a shorter Jimmy Butler. He's an elite athlete and an all-around like nice defender. 6'3" is kind of small for like a guard forward. James Brown is a 30-year-old, straight out of high school. He was straight out of high school when he was drafted. He's 6'2". He handles the ball well, and he's a great distributor. He can defend well as well. I'm trying to think of like an NBA comp for that. It's Paul, but taller. Chris Paul is a pretty good defender, point guard. The league in steals once or twice, if I recall. And Joseph Thompson, who's a power forward, but like classic power forward. Think like Rob Williams, Time Lord. He rebounds and defends well, but he has like the worst injury rating of all time. He will never ever be healthy. I just want to let you know he's like ranked 3. What is that face?
My bad. I zoned out for a second. I was just making faces.
It's no problem. And my team, I'm ranked 12th in the power rankings, but spoiler alert, I still suck. Like, my team was supposed to be really good and make the playoffs and stuff. It didn't. I've got Filippo Ricci, who's a Euro stash point guard, 27 years old. He's a good passer and good shooter. Nenad Alibegovic, nailed that. 6'2", 29-year-old guard.
These are randomly generated names.
Yes, these are randomly generated names.
These are
and
ridiculous.
Scooter Sharp, who's a former Mountaineer, UVA, I think. 34-year-old, 6'9". He's like, in this league, he'd be like the original stretch 4. He can shoot the 3 well. He's a great scorer. Yeah, so that's what our teams looked like before season started, and I'll just like take you guys through if there were any like trades made at the trade deadline and how we all ended up. Hope we didn't stop making that face, honestly.
My bad.
Very off-putting.
My bad.
So Jacob, you actually had the best record out of all of us.
Let's go!
You went 32 and 50.
Oh.
Couldn't do that in fantasy. Couldn't do that in the fantasy draft.
That was uncalled for. Me and Baden both went 31 and 50. Probably because me and Baden both traded away like really good players. So that's disappointing. Nenad got traded and Jason Whitaker got traded. I didn't mention, but that was a guy on the on Jacob's team.
All right.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I'll fill you guys more in if you guys like this segment. I'll figure out some better ways to get across the information since I know this was kind of long. But we got anything else we want to end the episode off with?
I don't think so. Thank you. Unless any of you guys have anything, I think I'll say goodbye.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow the Spotify. I guess you follow Spotify. Yeah. And have a great, wonderful day.
You guys.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Peace.